I'd like to recognize Chairman Cox with the Boating and Law Enforcement Committee.
Captain Cook.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman. Yes, thank you, Chairman Cox. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for reviewing and taking action on the proclamation for the taking of Raptors for Falconry 1801. We went over the changes, and I will very briefly see. Oh, I actually did it right this time. The three major changes is adding abatement authorization for birds that are used for falconry, clarifying that the taking of raptors for falconry is a state authorization only, and also creating the mechanism to award those 5 peregrine take permits in August. Let's see if I learned well. Let's see. And here is the proclamation in its clean form. Chairman Cox, I'm happy to answer any questions that may be coming up.
Motion for approval.
Mr. Chairman, the Budget Law Enforcement Committee recommended, I move approval of Proclamation 1801.
Thank you, Chairman Cox. I assume Commissioner Swan is a second. So we have a second. Any discussion amongst the commission? Any discussion from the public? Hearing none, all in favor for adoption of Proclamation 1801, 18-01, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. It's approved. Thank you.
Commissioners.
I'd like to recognize Chairman Holbert with the Budget Committee.
I'd like to call on Ken Tarkington for a financial report.
I have a slide. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your booklets or on your machines, you should have a 3-page financial report. I'm reporting through the month of November of 17. And at the top of the first page, the boating fund income is identified. We're approximately 3.6% less than where we were at this point in time last year. The allotment, the expenses to the allotment is approximately 34%, which means we spent 34% of the budget in boating for the year. In the middle of the page, the wetland, the wildlife revenue is approximately 9.1% ahead of the projection through November, and we've spent close to 30% of the budget for the year. The endowment funds at the towards the bottom, the Watchable has approximately $200 available to transfer, and the Lifetime Sportsman has $49,207,000. At the bottom of the page, it identifies those lifetime sportsman holders who are of age to hunt and fish or participate. The second page at the top, the Wetlands Acquisition Fund has a balance of $8.7 million. We've zeroed the maintenance fund out, as we usually do. And the compensation, or in lieu of tax, at the bottom of the page has approximately $863,000. The last page is a representation from the Treasury. Now, this is through December's. That's the most current we have. Excuse me. And there was a slight dip for the month of December of 0.1%. Kind of hard to see, but if you look on the blue, I think most of you have color. Second blue line at the top all the way to the right shows the change for the month. But overall, since inception, we're at 2.7, almost 2.8% income or product valuation since we've been involved in the fund. Are there any questions or comments?
Okay.
What is the current balance of the reserve that is not invested with the state treasury?
For which fund?
Any of them, all
Got a minute?
of them? 'Cause I think we've only invested, put money in that one time, is that correct?
I track on a monthly basis the ending reserve for boating and wildlife, and through, let me get my eyes correct. Not invested in wildlife is approximately 25 million. And not invested in boating is a little less than 1.6 million.
What about the endowments?
The majority of the endowments are, with the exception of the earnings, the sales since probably spring of last year. So out of
Not a
four,
big number.
not a big number, no, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
Before I call Pandy up, we discussed, Kate, if I could get you to come up just a minute, and if you would, I know you're gonna get prices on those freezers, but if you could, in reference to what Chuck said, I think we really need to think about that. So if you could, just get us a price range on an incinerator that would be suitable.
Okay.
For what you guys need. We need to be prepared.
We'll get a price on an incinerator and then we'll try to decide if we need additional ones statewide, but we'll have a price on one, and then we'll know what kind of price we're looking at.
All right, thanks, Kate.
We will do that. Thank you.
Director Carter.
I just wanted to mention on the incinerator, we'll be glad to go that route, and it would be a wonderful help if we can do it. Let's tell you, the last time we tried it, we could not get the permits we needed to operate an incinerator, so that'll be an obstacle we'll have to overcome.
Okay, we're gonna have to get a director that's certified and, okay. All right, just wanna be sure y'all agree.
I've been burned.
All right, I'd like to call on Pandy English, and Pandy, if you can just go over the amount, and you don't have to go back through the whole presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner Holbert and Commissioners. Again, this is a $30,000 budget expansion for the surveillance of white nose syndrome across the state of Tennessee. And it would be added to budget number 764700.
Mr. Chairman, the Budget Committee met yesterday, and we approved the budget expansion for 764-700 in the amount of $30,000.
Thank you, Chairman Homer. Take that as a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second from Commissioner Woods. Any discussion amongst the commission? Any discussion from the audience? All in favor for budget expansion for Tennessee white nose syndrome, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None, so that passes.
Thanks, Pandy.
Thank you very much.
Mark Goodwin.
Thank you. Yesterday, Kirk Miles presented a budget expansion proposal for habitat, waterfowl habitat improvement on Johnson Bottoms unit of Chickamauga WMA. This would be in the amount of $120,000 of Pittman-Robertson funds. This is what is being used as a match is a $40,000 grant from the Tucker Foundation through Ducks Unlimited. And this is for structural work to help us restore 27 acres of waterfowl habitat on that area.
Okay.
So the $40,000 is not coming to us, it's being spent directly on the project. So $120,000 of Pittman-Robertson dollars is what we need.
Shouldn't this be 122 Yeah.
I'm sorry, that wasn't, yes,
All right.
correct, there was the amendment.
Mr. Chairman, the Budget Committee met, and we approved the budget expansion of $122,000 for Johnson Bottoms.
Thank you, Chairman Holbert. I take that in form of a motion. I have a second. Second from Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion amongst the commission? From the audience? All in favor of the budget expansion for waterfowl habitat at Johnson's Bottom, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So that passes.
Second budget expansion request was for a total of $12,000 for habitat improvement development at Bar Camp Barrens Wildlife Management Area. This is a $3,000 donation from Quail, the Music City Quail Forever chapter that would be matched with $9,000 of PR funds.
Mr. Chairman, the Budget Committee met. We approved the budget expansion of $12,000.
And I take that in a form of a motion. Try to change it up a little bit, like Commissioner Stack. Yeah. Do I have a second? Second from Commissioner McLaren. All in, any discussion from commission? Any discussion from the public? All in favor of the budget expansion for Bark Camp Barrens, WMA, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So that passes.
Thanks, Mark. Mr. Roger Jackson.
Good morning, Commissioners. Our division is requesting the budget expansion of $50,000 in wetland funds for conservation easement monitoring by the Foothills Land Conservancy on the Foreman Tract at Mount Roosevelt. We will retain the hunting rights and recreation rights. We can do as we please on the tract. They are requesting a one-time fee of $50,000 for conservation easement monitoring.
Okay, thank you, Roger. And those of you, I want to make clear that it's 1,100 acres and all we're going to have in that. I mean, it's $50,000, so that's a great deal. So, anyway, Mr. Chairman, the Budget Committee met yesterday, and we recommend approval of the budget expansion in $50,000.
Thank you, Chairman Holbert. And we have a second from Commissioner Cox. Any discussion from the commission? Discussion from the public? All in favor for the approval of budget expansion for conservation easement at Mount Roosevelt, WMA, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes.
Mr. Glenn Moats.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yesterday I did bring forth a request for a budget expansion of $200,000 of all federal money. This is for a boating infrastructure grant for the city of Knoxville for transient boat docks on the riverfront.
Thank you, Glenn. Trying to think how to change this up. Mr. Chairman, yesterday 5 of us met on the Budget Committee, and we approved the $200,000 budget expansion. There you go.
Chairman Holbert, we appreciate the hard work of those 5 individuals, and we did have a second. Second from Commissioner Stroud. Any discussion for commission? There is some.
I'd just like to ask one question. Where is that going to connect at exactly? Is it downstream from Calhoun's or where?
It's near Calhoun's.
Pretty much right in front of it, I believe.
All right. Good deal.
Any other discussion from the public? Hearing none, so all in favor of the budget expansion for the infrastructure grant, the city of Knoxville, all say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that passes. Is that it?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Holbert.
We approved, I'm not sure who, have we approved 2 of those mulching mowers from those machines, Capt makers? Where, have we bought those? Where's that thing? Grinders, mulchers? Anybody know?
That was, I think, if I remember, it's $360,000.
That's correct.
That will be in this coming fiscal year.
After July?
Looking at, we're looking at the details of what we have as far as equipment and capacity to transport it from
Any other business from members of the commission?
Yeah, I've got one more thing to put that through. Commissioner Sanders and I were talking this morning, and I don't know who to ask about this, but, we're kind of grousing among ourselves about things happening in our area or statewide that we don't know about until we get a press release that it's over. And I wonder if we as a commission could get notices when there's some function that the agency's involved with in our area, especially, but statewide, if there's a ribbon cutting, or if there's a youth hunt or something that the agency is sponsoring or participating in that somebody knows about, the regional I&E person might send us an email or keep us up to date. I get press releases from Region 2, 3, and 4 pretty regularly. But I just wonder if we might get something that, every now and then, we might have time to attend one of these and don't know about it till it's over. So, whoever could do that, I sure would appreciate it.
Commissioner Cox, I get an email that will detail some of those activities from the regional personnel, and I'll be happy to begin forwarding to the commission.
That'd be great, I appreciate it.
Mike?
In that spirit, Commissioner Cox, Mike Butler, Wildlife Federation, whatever the first youth waterfowl hunt is, I think it's February 3rd, maybe. I want to invite the commission to join us in Dyersburg at the Lanham Center the night before. We hold what we think is arguably the largest youth waterfowl hunt that we are aware of in the country. And it's a big doings. We have probably 300 people there, parents, kids, and we hunt about 20 different blinds in the Dyersburg area on that Saturday. So we'd love to have any and all of you come to that dinner on Friday night. We'll send an email invite out to that.
Thank you, Mike. Any other business from the commission?
Get well wishes to our chairman.
Absolutely.
Hope
Please
she gets
come
better
back.
soon, so.
We all want her back. I have one thing, just discussing with Mike in the break. He had a great idea. I think we were talking about, trying to get the word out on CWD. And I don't know if Doug, I don't think Doug's here, but he had the idea of reaching out to our border states and just saying, how many hunters come from Tennessee, and could we get their information in order to go directly to those hunters and say, if you continue to hunt out of state, you need to be aware of the CWD law. So maybe that's already being done, but if not, I think it's a great idea. So, and the other thing I was thinking about is maybe just seeing if we could go to the other, I know it all comes down to money, but could we start the ad campaign maybe somewhere in East Tennessee, somewhere in West Tennessee, maybe in a smaller market, but still get the word out. So just curious if he could look into that and see what's available there. So Director Carter, any more business?
No, sir, just to your last point there, even though it was Channel 2, it was statewide in terms of their outreach. So I understand what you're saying, just want to make that point, but I have no other announcements. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So our next meeting is February 27th and 28th. I believe it's here. Is that correct? It's here. Okay, great. All right, no other business. We are adjourned. No. Chairman Woodson is going to do that by email and through other discussions, so, yeah. But we're adjourned.